there's a couple things. So one is how you're talking about our nervous system and as energy and how it holds that energy of trauma. And I think it's really interesting because something I've been talking about with some other people about is that the adrenaline and the trauma and how that, is it's basically all there. So it's all very aligned. And what I love is that you say to go full into the fire and rage. And you kind of mentioned a little bit what that looks like in the mirror, right? So we're sitting in front of the mirror and we're trying to affirmation our life away. Like, oh, I am beautiful. I am rich. I do have the perfect partner.
Rich.
I do, and we're trying and we're trying to do all these things. But the reality is that it's not real. And so it's kind of like what I feel like you're saying is that path to freedom is not there. It's not through those affirmations. It's not available to us yet to really step into that. So to actually step more into the reality of it, like I'm ugly and I'm not going to let that stop me. Or I'm, broke as shit and I have no money in my bank account and I'm not going to let that define me. It's more about that piece. Is that right?
It's about jumping into the energy of what seemingly is against me.
Yeah.
That might be from the outer world or from the inner world. Like you are ugly is from the inner world, but negative YouTube comments from the outer world. It's like, I have 70 bad comments and only 7 shitstorms last month. Have I been sleeping? Something like that. It's really like, go towards it. You see, and for example, now you are laughing. Why? Because it sets you free immediately. It's like, where's the problem? Give me more. I want energy. It's really jumping into the shadow. So the path of healing is a nourishing path that works for sure and without you doing anything. The path of healing has more energy, but you have to be incredibly active. You have to want the problem because you want the energy. And that is counterintuitive. And at the same time, it is instinctive as well.
I love that. I mean, there's a lot of different teachers that I listen to that speak about the same thing. And I think it's one of those things that we're trying to kind of decode from The Secret, the movie The Secret and the affirmations. And we're trying we're like, yes, everything is, we're connected to everything. And yes, our energy is going to attract the same kind of energy. But it's different. And explain that to people, how this is different. What really happens when we embrace our shadow in this way?
Yeah, I think what makes sense is defining shadow not so much as a psychic stuff. I watch porn. That's so embarrassing. That's okay. That's shadow owning on the verbal level, but really as the shut down parts, I describe them as gaps in the nervous system. Like a gap is like I'm wired with insane interconnectedness when I'm born, and then it's like, don't go there, and then there is a gap. Don't go there, and then there's a gap. It's like holes on the street, and then after a while you don't use the street anymore because there are only holes, and it's like you even forget that there is a street. And that is what we refer to like later in life in terms of that's it. I mean, I get up 9 to 5. I get ends meet, yes, but it's okay. And then with 80, you die. It's like, did something happen? That is the psychic reference to all those holes on the street, to these gaps in the nervous system. And those gaps are filled with kind of like dark matter. That is the shadow. And the shadow is so much about, first of all, of course, our secrets, what we feel ashamed of, etc., etc. And then the real shadow challenge is owning how much we know, owning how much power, wisdom, love, radiance is inside. And I'm super surprised that I'm talking about that, because I was only into the depth of your core is just rage, and it's just revenge, and just hatred. And I was so familiar with all those layers of try to shock me with your monster energies. And even the deepest monster energies are a kind of weak foreplay for when it comes to you stepping into what you're here to give. So to some extent, I think the real shock waits for us inside in terms of, if I stop holding back, monster energies will come up. A lot of envy, a lot of hatred, a lot of irrational stuff, a lot of hysteria, etc. And all of that just shallow layers on top of something of receive my gift, receive my love, receive how much I'm in love with this universe. So I think that's the deepest loss that this culture has put into us. We have no idea about how real it is that we are divine. And that's no blah blah. Find the animal inside, and that's the God. I'm not into go towards the head, go towards your feet, go into the animal brain, go into evolution. And that is where freedom is.
Yeah.